right, let me go ahead and take a moment here to introduce you to our officials for this one, Game 2. This is going to be Seattle Derby Brats, the Galaxy, going to be taking on West Coast Junior Knockouts, the TKOs. So your officials are Diva, El Tornado Blanco, Mortal Kombat, Mike Sonoys, Jin Scrummy, India, Bamtastic, Hellbilly, Moss Wild. Also, you do have Dropkick Daisy, Whisk, Lucy, All on Your Grill, Peter, Milk and Cookies, Doom, and Lobocop. Those are your officials for this bout. Give you a rundown of the teams. Let's just start with the Seattle Derby Brats, the Galaxy. They're on track right now. You've got 00 Dust Bunny, 009 Megahertz, 021 Satan's Sister, 212 Wacon, 321 Rainbow Bite, 36 Narwhal, 39 Rubellus, number 5 Pterodactyl, 517 the Curly Dervish, 54 Pound Cake, number 6, who also passed geometry this time and doesn't have to go through summer school, Evelina, 823 Amir Cat, 83 Not Sorry Mari, 993 Frida Kapow, and then your captain for the Galaxy is number 330 Allison Thunderland. Give you a rundown for the West Coast Junior Knockouts, the TKOs, 03 Tiki Torture, 11 Rapunzel, 112 Slamby, 13 Grim Reaper, 150 Belladonna, 333 Triple Threat, 39 Blockter Dre, 49 Killer Kiwi, 55 Bridge Burner, 69 Notorious, 71 Tamale, number 8 Tinkerbell, 818 Sugar Rush. Just a word, if you ever need anyone to do a national anthem for you, Sugar Rush is your person. All right, number 95 Lightning McQueen, and the captain for the TKOs, number 317 Riled Up. And that is your West Coast Junior Knockouts. As you know, that was West Coast. Now we do have our bout shouts going on. We've got raffle tickets going on. Probably do some raffle drawings at halftime. We do have our vendors and our merchants, so be sure to check them out. Can't go wrong with our vendors. And Arthur, also the team merchants. Just completing gear check here, making sure everything's upright and out of tight. Make sure they are staying safe with your equipment. Now, Galaxy has met up with the TKOs earlier in the year. They were at the Seaside Slam. Looking forward to this matchup. This is the number 2 seed taking on the number 3 seed. There's your whistle. We're going to go ahead and get about 30 seconds. Killer Kiwi up on that line for the TKOs. Going to be taking on the Curly Dervish. There's the whistle. Get this first jam underway. Curly Dervish coming on the outside. Going to be your lead jammer for the Galaxy. Killer Kiwi getting knocked on the outside, having to recycle. Curly Dervish up on that front wall. Killer Kiwi on the back wall. Curly Dervish coming through, picking up 4 for the Galaxy. You have a star pass for the TKOs. Curly Dervish, one to get through, comes through, picks up 4 for Galaxy, goes ahead and calls it. 8 points up on that board, brought to you by the Curly Dervish. Grim Reaper up on that line, going to be taking on Rubelis. All right, starting jam number 2. Coming through, first out, that's going to be Grim Reaper. Going to be your lead jammer for the TKOs. Not to be outdone, Galaxy's jammer right there. That's number 39, Rubelis. Rubelis getting knocked on the outside, having to cycle back to the back of the pack. Grim Reaper getting knocked on the out, having to recycle as well. Grim Reaper coming through on the inside, picking up 4 for the TKOs. Not to be outdone, Rubelis coming through with 4 of their own for Galaxy. Grim Reaper hitting that front wall. Rubella's hitting that back wall. Rubella's coming through. Actually picking up a penalty on that one. That's going to give a power jam over to the TKOs. Grim Reaper coming through, goes ahead and calls it. Grim Reaper picking up 4 points. Rubella's picking up 3. Tamale up on that line for the TKOs. Tamale's going to get a power start on this one. Tamale on the inside lane, going to be your lead jammer for the TKOs. Molly's still working on that front wall. Comes through, pops out on the inside. Going to be picking up 4 points for the TKOs. Not to be outdone is the jammer for the Galaxy. Tamale coming through again one more time, picking up 4. All right, that ends the official timeout. We got Pound Cake up on the line for Galaxy, going to be taking on Killer Kiwi for the TKOs. Pound Cake comes through, going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. It's going to be a power jam for Galaxy. Jammer for the TKOs being sent to the penalty box. Pound Cake coming through, picking up 4. This Pound Cake's the only cake that I know that punches back. Pound Cake goes ahead and calls it. Pound Cake picking up 4 points on that one, holding the TKOs to 0. Given time for Narwhal, number 36, a power start. There's Lewis to get that jam underway. Narwhal getting knocked on the outside, having to recycle to the back of the pack, giving enough time for Killer Kiwi to come through, clearing that power jam. Killer Kiwi hitting that front wall. Narwhal hitting the back wall. Killer Kiwi getting called on a penalty. That's going to give a power jam over to Narwhal. Narwhal finds a hole on the inside lane going into turn number 3. Going to be your lead jammer for the Galaxy. Narwhal's got one to get through, getting some help from her teammates, comes through. Picks up 4, goes ahead and calls it. Frida Kapow up on that line for the Galaxy. Frida Kapow is getting start on a power start on this one. Swiss get the jam underway. Frida coming on the inside, going into turn 1, getting knocked on the outside, having to recycle. Killer Kiwi back on the track, clears the power jam. Do have a star pass, new jammer for the TKOs is going to be 1-1-2. That's Slamby, lead jammer. That's going to be Frida Kapow. That was your lead jammer calling it off before Slamby could get through the back of the pack. Tinkerbell up on the line for the TKOs is going to be taking on the Curly Dervish. Curly Dervish getting knocked on the inside, having to recycle to the back of the pack. Tinkerbell getting held up on that back wall. Lead jammer, that's going to be the Curly Dervish, going to be your lead jammer. That's going to be for Galaxy. Curly Dervish going down, having to recycle to the back of the pack. Low blocks called for the TKO's blocker. Curly Dervish trying to get some help from her teammates to break up that 3 wall. We got a shout out on the live stream to Haley and Krista, our medics, so give them a shout out. Want to thank our medics for taking care of our kids. And again, that is up on our live stream. You can check the live stream out on the West Coast Derby Knockouts YouTube page, YouTube channel. All right, we got Grim Reaper up on that line, going to be taking on Pound Cake. Grim Reaper coming through, going to be your lead jammer, not to be outdone. Actually, no pass, no foul on that one. Your lead jammer is going to be Pound Cake. Pound Cake sees that Grim Reaper is just about there, goes ahead and calls it. Good play on that one for Pound Cake. Tamale up on that line for the TKO is going to be taking on Narwhal for the Galaxy. That's the whistle, get this jam underway. Narwhal getting recycled to the back of the pack. Tamale's trying to get through that back wall. Staying really defensive right there in turn number 1. Going to turn number 1 in the apex between 1 and 2. Cut track called. That's going to be initial pass for Tamale. Lead jammer is going to be 36. That's going to be Narwhal. Got a cut track called. Let's see who gets called on the cut track. No, that's going to be Tamale. Tamale's going to go ahead and get to the penalty box. Give it a power jam over to Galaxy. Narwhal coming through, picking up 4 and calls it. That's going to go ahead and freeze the jammer for the TKOs. Give it a power start for the next jammer for Galaxy. That next jammer, that's going to be Rubellus for Galaxy. There's the whistle, get this jam underway. Jam number 10. Rubellus got 1 to get through. Rubellus comes through, going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Ends the jam on this one. Tamale's back on the track. Pack is back at full strength. TKO spreading that, trying to bridge that gap. Rubellus is pushing them all the way out. Rubellus comes through, picking up 4 for the Galaxy. Cut track called on number 6-9. That's going to be Notorious for the TKOs. Ends the jam on this one. 8 points brought to you by Galaxy. Don't forget, we've got your raffles going on. We got vouch outs going on. You've got merchant tables going on, vendor tables going on. Frida Kapow going to be taking on Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper coming through. That's going to be lead jammer for the TKOs. Frida Kapow having to recycle to the back of the pack. Grim Reaper trying to go from the outside to the inside, getting knocked on the inside of the track. Grim Reaper getting called on the cut track. That's going to give a power jam over to the Galaxy. Frida getting knocked on the inside, having to cycle to the back of the pack. Frida coming through, one to get through. Comes through, that's going to be 4 points for the Galaxy. The captain riled up and was trying to run interference. Grim Reaper finds that hole on the inside. That's going to be 4 points, brought to you by TKO's right there at the whistle at the end of the jam. (41-24) in favor of Galaxy. As we know, that is still a close game. The Curly Dervish up on that line, going to be taking on Slamby. Going into an official timeout. Got about 12:20 left in this period. Getting ready to go into jam number 12. And again, 41-24 in favor of Galaxy. There's the whistle to end the official timeout. Pack is staying very compact right there. Coming through, Curly Dervish. Going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Got a cut track called on this one. Let's see who gets that. It looks like that's going to go over to the TK Slamby. Give a power jam over to Galaxy. Coming through, Curly Dervish. Curly Dervish worked for those 4 points. Going into an official review. This official review brought to you by Bout Shout. Bout shout out to Killer Kiwi number 49. Lovey Twin, you're doing amazing. From Kiki, a.k.a. Twin. 45-24 in favor of Galaxy. About 4 minutes. Try this again. 10 minutes, 47 seconds left in the first period. Getting ready to go into jam 13. Okay, the official review ends. You've got Pound Cake up on the line. It's going to be jamming. And then you've got, looks like Slamby in the penalty box. So it's going to be a power start for Galaxy. Pound Cake coming through, going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Pound Cake coming through on the inside line. Going to be picking up 4. That's going to end the power jam. Pound Cake coming through, picking up 4 for Galaxy. Total of 8 points this jam for Pound Cake. Ends the jam on this one. Pound Cake picking up a total of 12. $57-24 in favor of Galaxy. A little under 9 minutes left. Grim Reaper up on that line, going to be taking on Rubellus. Jam number 14 underway. Cut track called. That's going to be 0-3. That's going to be Tiki Torture. Coming through on the inside, going to be your lead jammer. That's going to be Grim Reaper. Not to be outdone, Rubellus on the initial pass. Ends the jam on this one. Looks like 3 points picked up by the TKOs. Tamale up on that line, going to be taking on Narwhal. Narwhal just blowing out of that pack. Going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Molly working on that back wall. Back is staying right there on the apex between turns number 1 and 2. There comes Narwhal. Picking up 4 points for Galaxy. Narwhal making another pass on that one, picking up an additional 4 points. Taking her 8 points on this jam. Narwhal goes ahead and calls it. So Narwhal picking up a total of 10 on that one. Picks up 2 additional points. Galaxy coming out right hot and heavy. That's going to be 993 Frida Kapow. Frida Kapow picking up 4. Goes ahead and calls it, picks up 4 more, taking to a total of 8 on this one. Shout out to Tinkerbell. Girl, have a great game and have fun. Kick your booty cheeks from LP. I remember when I used to play LPs. All right, here we go. Number 13, that's going to be Grim Reaper, be taking on 517, the Curly Dervish. Curly Dervish going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Coming through on the inside. Grim Reaper on the initial pass. Curly Dervish coming through, picking up 4, calling it on the straightaway. Got about 3.5 minutes left in this period. Tamale up on the line with Pound Cake. Can you imagine a pound of tamale, a tamale that's like a pound? It's gotta be like, Christmas. Tamale's gonna be your lead jammer for the TKOs, not to be outdone. Pound Cake on the initial pass. Tamale coming through, calls it. Tamale picks up 1 point on that one. Bout shout going on to Tinkerbell. You're doing great. Love you. Try your best. From Rainbow Bite. Killer Kiwi taking on Rubella's. Rubella's going to be your lead jammer. Rubella's picking up 4 for the Galaxy. You have a Star Pass. Notorious is going to be your new jammer for the TKOs. Ends the jam on that one. Got enough time for maybe one more. One more jam going into jam number 20. Grim Reaper up on that line, going to be taking our Narwhal. There's the whistle, get this jam underway. Narwhal trying to go on the inside, getting knocked on the inside, having to recycle. Narwhal is going to be your lead jammer. Grim Reaper coming through on the initial pass. Narwhal goes ahead and calls it. Our customary 30 seconds on this before we call officially intermission. All right, that's the whistle, halftime. Seattle Derby Brats Galaxy sitting at 85. West Coast Junior Knockouts, TKOs at 28. Again, we got about 15 minutes. Time to go stretch your legs. Actually, why don't you stand up, reach in your pocket, and get out your raffle tickets. We've got, what do we got? We got the Wilson basket. Hold on, just. Oh, just was advised that the calories on the bake sale is half off. So your calories are just half off. Not the calories, it's the price. Got it. Okay, no problem. Okay, so bake sale, half off of baked goods. I'll even throw in half off of calories. All right, ticket number, red ticket number for the Wilson basket, 5417162. Again, red ticket, 5417162. Give me a call one more time. Red ticket, 5417162. Oh, I think we got a winner over there. Here he comes. He's coming right over here. Here's the ticket for you. All right, once again, the bake sale is half off right now. All your baked goods, 50% off. Whatever, however you want to do it. So if we want to do another one at halftime, that's great, and then another one in between, and I'll right, we got number 49 up on the board. That's going to be Killer Kiwi. Going to be taking on Rubelas. All right, there's the whistle. Get this bout underway. Coming through on the initial pass. Galaxy goes ahead, picks up the 4 points, and calls it. There's the whistle, get the second jam underway. Coming through is going to be Galaxy, going to be your lead jammer. That's going to be Frida Kapow. That's going to be end that jam on this one. Galaxy picking up 4 points. Tamale up on that line, going to be taking on number 517, the Curly Dervish. Curly Dervish finds that hole on the inside coming out of turn number 1. Going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Curly Dervish coming through, picking up 4 points for the Galaxy. Ends the power jam. Tamale's back on the track, still trying to get through that back wall. Ends the jam on this one. Galaxy picking up a total of 8 for that jam, taking them over the century mark at 101. Killer Kiwi up on that line, going to be taking on number 36. That's going to be Narwhal. Ends the jam on this one. Narwhal picking up 4 on this one. Coming out, Galaxy is going to be your lead jammer. That's going to be Pound Cake, your lead jammer for Galaxy. Pound Cake's got one more to get through. She comes through, picks up the 4, stays inside the lanes, picking up 4 points for the Galaxy. Slamby up on that line for the TKO is going to be taking on Rubellus for Galaxy. Rubellus coming through, going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Rubella's picking up another 4 points for Galaxy. Slamby coming on the inside lane. Jam called off. Galaxy picking up 3. Holding TKOs to 0. Total of 7 points for the Galaxy at this time on that jam. Tinkerbell going to be taking on Frida Kapow. Lead jammer, that's going to be Frida Kapow for Galaxy. Tinkerbell coming through. That's the initial pass for Tinkerbell. Ends the jam on this one. Grim Reaper up on that line, going to be taking on the Curly Dervish. Staying pretty solid there in between the apex, between turns 1 and 2. Curly Dervish trying to get through that front wall. Grim Reaper trying to get through that back wall. Grim Reaper taking a shot on the outside. Clears the pack. Curly Dervish coming through. Grim Reaper is going to be your lead jammer. Maybe not. Curly Dervish getting called on a high block on this one. A couple whistles going through that. West Coast picking up 2 points on that one. Tamale up on that line for the TKOs. Going to be taking our Narwhal. There's the whistle, get this jam underway. Narwhal coming through, going to be your lead jammer for the Galaxy. Tamale clearing the initial pass. Narwhal coming through, going to shut the back door. 2 points. 2 points for Narwhal. Pound Cake up on the line. Going to be taking on Killer Kiwi. Oh, can you imagine a Kiwi Pound Cake? Oh, I'm hungry now. Anybody want dessert? All right, there we go. Jam underway. Pound Cake's going to be your lead jammer. Lightning McQueen getting called for a directional. Pound Cake coming through, picking up 4. Pound Cake breaking up that front wall, one to get through. 4 more points. Pound Cake goes ahead and calls it. Pound Cake picking up that 4. So a total of 8 on that jam for Pound Cake. Rubelis up on that line, going to be taking on Grim Reaper. Tamale up on that line. Going to be taking on Frida Kapow. Ends the jam on that one. 2 points brought to you by the Galaxies. Looks like 1, I believe, for 2. 2, believe. Yes, 2 on for the TKOs. Coming through. That's going to be Tinkerbell, lead jammer for TKOs. Ends the jam on that one. TKO is picking up 3, holding the Galaxy to 0 on this one. Grim Reaper up on that line, going to take on Narwhal. Grim Reaper getting knocked on the inside, having to recycle. Narwhal shoots on the inside lane, going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Narwhal going down. Having to come back up. She goes ahead and calls it. Ends the jam. Narwhal picking up 3. Tamale coming up on that line, going to be taking on Pound Cake. There's the jam whistle to get this jam underway. Pound Cake hitting that back wall. Looks like Tamale's trying to get through that front wall. Here comes Pound Cake. Getting knocked out of the pack. Getting chased down. Still going to be your lead jammer. Pound Cake coming through, getting knocked on the inside, having to recycle to the back of the pack. All right, that's going to end the whistle on that one. We've got one more time for a coffee and wine basket. Now, if you want to donate that to your favorite announcer called Big Papa, that's fine. I'll take the donation, but let's see what ticket we have. All right, we're going to call that ticket right after this jam. We got Rubella's going to be taking on Killer Kiwi. Killer Kiwi getting called for a penalty. That's going to give a power jam over to Rubella's. Power jam for Galaxy. Rubella's coming through, staying on the inside of the lanes, picking up 4, goes ahead and calls it. Speaking of calling it, here it is, coffee and wine basket, red ticket. It's 541-6993. Again, red ticket, 541-6993. And it's got to be an adult to pick up this basket, okay? Take care. Huh? You want to bring it over and then we'll call it? Yeah. Grim Reaper on the initial pass on this one. Here comes Frida Kapow picking up 4, calling it. All right, we've got 2 more raffles for tonight, so be sure to get your tickets ready. We're going to get ready to call that next one. Slamby up on that line, going to be taking on Narwhal. Pack sitting in turn 2. Here comes Narwhal. Narwhal's going to be your lead jammer for Galaxy. Narwhal's got one to get through. That's Tamale. Comes through, picks up 4. Slamby's initial pass on this one. Slamby's coming through, getting stuck on that front wall. Narwhal getting stuck on that back wall. Slamby getting knocked out of position, having to recycle. Here comes Narwhal, one to get through. Comes through, picks up 4 for Galaxy. Narwhal taking a run for this one, hitting that front wall. Ends the jam on this one. That's actually going to freeze Slamby in the penalty box. Nope, not. I saw a star in the penalty box. That's what I thought. Hey, speaking of stars, here we go. We've got, this is the USC basket, 541-7166. And again, USC basket, 541-7166. Give another call on that one. 541-7166. All right, we got a winner on that one. There you go. There's the ticket. I'm going to give you the bag. There's your bag. Coming through again, lead jammer. That's going to be Pound Cake. Got a cut track going over to West Coast. Pound Cake picking up 4. Pound Cake coming through, picking up another 4. That's going to take her to a total of 8. She goes ahead and calls it. All right, last raffle of the day. That's going to be Hot Topic. That's going to be a red ticket, 541-6772. One more time, Hot Topic, 541-6772. Just one more call again, 541-6772 for Hot Topic. Welcome, thank you. Coming through, that's going to be Rubelis for Galaxy. Nice little turn there. She's going to be your lead jammer. Rubelis got one to get through. Rubelis comes through, picks up 4 points for the Galaxy. Grim Reaper trying to hit that back wall. Rubelis coming through, hitting that angle there. Picking up another 4 points for the Galaxy. Dust Bunny picking up on a directional on this one. Ends the jam on this one. Galaxy manages to pick up 12 points on that jam, holding West Coast to 0. Enough for maybe one more jam. Going into jam 20. Tamale up on that line, taking on Frida Kapow. Tamale is going to be your lead jammer for West Coast. Cut track called on Tamale. That's going to give a power jam over to Galaxy. Back block's called. That's going to go ahead and send TKO blocker to that penalty box. Tamale working on that front wall. Frida working on that back. Tamale coming through, picking up 4. For the TKOs, not to be outdone, Frida Kapow sitting with 4 of her own. That's going to end the jam. That is going to be the last jam. Going to wait for the official word. Currently sitting 189.49. I want to give a shout out to Skating Plus for letting us invade their home this week. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Give a shout out to all of our officials, all of our volunteers, our photographers, Zoom Photography, check them out on their Facebook, and also our EMTs and our live stream crew. Again, we're going to do this tomorrow morning. My name is Big Papa. It's been my pleasure. Until we see each other trackside again, keep your enemies close and your friends and family within 20 feet of the pack.